My name is Sidiabo Sito. We're taking a look at your personal finance issues, and a little later I'll be bringing you SME on point. Insurance companies say they're seeing an increase in the number of motor vehicle and household claims. This is due to power outages. The country has been in constant load shedding, and as a result, consumers have been experiencing large-scale damage to their electrical equipment whenever Eskom switches off the lights from time to time. So for this reason, South Africans are urged to unplug their electrical equipment during power cuts. This is to safeguard their products.
Eskom has recently been implementing rolling power cuts across the country, and with no clear indication of when the constrained capacity will ease up, this is likely to continue. The blackouts have resulted in power surges, which are causing damage to electrical equipment. Consumers are urged to unplug all their electrical equipment before and during power cuts, and to install power surge protection to prevent damage to the equipment.
Every time there's load shedding, the claims go up. So it's not just as a result, it's not just damage to electronic equipment. As I mentioned earlier, we've seen some serious fires as a result of load shedding, because the power surge, one example that I can use is a lady was drying her hair. The power went out. She went out of the house. She left her hairdryer on her bed. And then when the power came back on, the hairdryer went on, and then that led to the fire starting. So it's quite serious. So if you, especially nowadays, I get really worried about power surge during nighttime. Make sure that because we have it from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning, before you go to bed, switch all your electronic items off at the walls. If you can afford it, and it's really not that expensive, have power surge protection installed. So it's little devices that you attach to your electronic equipment to make sure that power surge doesn't come through to the items.
Continuous blackouts can also lead to the risk of fire and equipment failure. Consumers are urged to do regular maintenance on their electrical equipment, such as alarms, and install inverters. They also have to test backup batteries on alarm system to ensure that it works properly. Failure to do this could lead to your insurance claims being repudiated. Load shedding has also led to an increase in motor accidents, with the traffic lights not operating.
When you drive in a town that you don't know that well, it even happened to me driving in my own town where I've lived for 25 years. You don't realize there's a traffic light, but people who live there know there's a traffic light. So we see accidents happen. People go through what is a traffic light, but they don't even know it's there because it's pitch dark. So what we really want to say to your viewers is, if you do drive in a town that you don't know, also remember that there might be other people who don't know their way around where there's supposed to be traffic lights, and treat every intersection as a potential traffic light, and be super, super careful, because we have also seen increase in motor car accidents where people don't realize there's a traffic light and they go straight through it.
Those who are fortunate enough to have home content cover are likely to claim from their insurance, but not all insurance cover automatically covers for power surge caused by load shedding. Consumers are urged to read the terms and conditions of their contracts so that they know exactly what they are covered for. Naledi Matlapeng, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Let's take the conversation further with Evie Kay, who is a financial advisor at Discovery Financial Consultants. Hello, Evie, and welcome to Your Money on Market Sense. A very interesting insert that Naledi has done for us. Have you, as Discovery, been seeing an increase in the number of claims due to power surge or motor accidents due to load shedding? And if so, how much? Still trying to get hold of Evie Kay, checking if he is on the line. Right, we are talking about the impact that load shedding is having on your contents at home, your washing machine, your stove, sometimes even your TV, all the insurance companies seeing that they have been seeing an increase in the number of claims, and we are trying to get hold of Evie Kay from Discovery to find out if, Discovery themselves, they've been seeing an increase, and what you can do as a consumer to try and protect yourself. Sometimes people do have insurance, but most often than not, a lot of people do not have insurance. What can you do? In the previous insert that Naledi did play, she did mention speaking to Christelle, and who said that you have to invest in something called power surge cables or power surge plugs, and this will help to protect your equipment from power surge at all costs. Of course, if you don't have, it's something that you can actually think of putting it together. I think we do have Avi now. Let's speak to Avi. Avi, thank you so much for joining us on Your Money on Market Sense. I do hope you did see that beautiful insert that Naledi did put together about the impact that load shedding is having on appliances. You as Discovery, what numbers have you been seeing? Have you been seeing an increase in the number of claims due to this?
So there's definitely, hi, thank you very much for the time. There's definitely been an increase in the claims on appliances. No doubt, I can't give you the exact figures because I don't work directly in the claims department, but there's definitely been an increase, and we expect a large amount of claims coming in going forward, simply because the challenge is here to stay for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Let's talk about home insurance as a
Yes.
whole. Do you find that all insurance content or all home content insurance covers you for these kind of instances, such as a power outage? I have spoken to a couple of people who have been seeing that the insurance actually does not cover them. What, in your experience, have you been seeing with regards to how insurances work?
Okay, so one's going to be very careful, because when you talk about insurance, it's a very, very broad topic. And when you talk about health insurance, it might narrow it down a little bit, but it's still a very broad topic. First of all, if you have contents cover that covers the contents in your house, generally it should be covered. The portable possessions like your cell phones and your TV and your laptop, those should be covered for power surges. Other things like your gate motor, your pool motor, those are covered under a different section, and that's your household, that's your bricks and mortar, your buildings cover. So you're just going to make sure that you understand what cover you have, number one. And number two, it takes one phone call these days to call your insurer and say, I just want to double check, this is my name, this is my ID number, my policy number. I'm very concerned about power surges, about my appliances. Please, can you check for me if I'm covered? And if I'm not, how do I rectify it? The biggest challenge is to walk around not knowing and hoping that you are covered, because hope isn't a plan. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And what people don't know, Avi, is that actually home contents cover is not as expensive as they think. You might pay even something less than 300 Rand to have, a 250,000 Rand claim. So it's not as expensive as one may think, correct?
Absolutely. It's really not that expensive. One should generally look at it. Excuse me, there's usually two areas in it. Number one is general. Everything is covered in the house. And the theory is that if somebody had to pick up your house and shake it, everything that would fall out would be covered under that policy. And the other section to that is the portable possessions. So people often make a mistake and think, well, my laptop is like a PC. It sits on my desk. It doesn't go anywhere. It's covered usually if it's stolen from the house. But if it's dropped, if it's broken, if it's a power surge, if it's not specified, you're going to have a problem. So please just make sure that those things are clear. Those things that are covered under general contents are one thing. Things that should be under portable should definitely be specified. And if you don't, you're going to be crying, unfortunately, when something happens.
Yeah. Avi, in this last minute that I have with
Sure.
you, what about those who don't have insurance? Can they claim from their municipality? Is it something that's possible at all?
Theoretically, one could, because there are the power suppliers and they should regulate the amount of power coming in. Practically, it's impossible, and I don't think it's going to happen. Pick up the phone, call your insurer, ask your friends who they're insured by, what experiences they've had, and get yourself a little bit of cover, and like that, you won't have to worry.
Avi K, the financial advisor at Discovery Financial Consultants, thank you so much for joining us on Your Money on Market Sense. Up next, SME on Point.